have Jerry 1. I put LT 2. I put Tom Brady 3. I have Jim Brown 4. The reason why I put Jerry numbers in an era in which they ran the football is so far ahead of the second and third best. It's not even close, Skip. The 22,000 receiving yards, the 197 touchdowns. He's 5,000 yards clear of the next closest, which is Larry Fitzgerald, who's currently doing radio. He's 41 receiving touchdowns ahead of the next closest, which is Randy Moss, who's been retired for 8 years. He's 51 more total touchdowns than the next closest. That's Moss and T.O. He has 32 more touchdowns than Emmitt Smith. And you was in Emmitt in his prime, and you know how many touchdowns Emmitt scored every year. And he kept every last one of those. I put Jerry first. I put LT, Skip. I put LT second. You covered LT. You know what he represents. What LT did, I don't think anybody's ever going to do from a defensive perspective. It would be the equivalent if Michael Parsons won Defensive Rookie of the Year and also won Defensive Player of the Year, because that's what LT did. LT was the last defensive player to win MVP, and he did it in an era, Skip. They ran the football, and for him to put the numbers up and to dominate the game like he did, no question. Tom, numbers. Tom played mainly in this passing era. His numbers, his wins, Skip, we're not going to even talk about the wins, because the wins, I don't know if somebody's ever going to catch that win total. But his numbers, they're not substantially better than Manning's. They're not substantially better than Drew Brees. Jerry's numbers in Randy and T.O., they got the tail, they got the back, they got the beginning, they got the tail end of that era in which Jerry played in. But a large portion of their careers was in the passing era, and they still couldn't catch it. I got Jerry 1, LT 2, I got Tom Brady 3. And in 20 years, Tom Brady overall had the #1 defense in 20 seasons.
You just will never give in to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. You just won't give in. You will do anything in your power to try to make the case that anybody else...
I've made it for Jerry. I've been saying Jerry and LT.
Okay. What have you always told me about the position that you played, I'll lump it together, as a receiver in professional football? It is the word you used, dependent position, right?
Yes.
You depend on the quarterback to A, decide to throw you the football, and then B, to throw it where you can remotely catch it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you are beholden to the quarterback. It's all about the quarterback, because the game is actually rigged the way it's set up, the way the rules are, where the quarterback is by far the most valuable player on the field, and it ain't even close. It starts and it finishes with the quarterback. John Gruden said yesterday, it's all about my quarterback. If I get my quarterback to play to his utmost, we have a chance to win every game. And it's just the truth about pro football. It's all about the quarterback.
Okay.
The gap in value from Tom Brady to Jerry Rice is from here to Pluto. In just pure value, it's just from here to Pluto. I know Jerry Rice. I love Jerry Rice. This is no disrespect to Jerry Rice or to Lawrence Taylor, who was the baddest man on the planet for about 5 years. But they play positions that cannot dominate the game the way the quarterback position can dominate the game. And this quarterback is the quarterback of all time. He's won 7 Super Bowls. He went and transformed the Succaneers into a Super Bowl champion in one pandemic-ridden year. I've never seen anything like it before, while playing on a torn knee ligament. And now he has them primed and positioned to win an 8th Super Bowl this year in his career. And God only knows, maybe a 9th or even a 10th wouldn't shock me, because that's how great he is as the greatest leader in sports history and the greatest clutch player over a duration of time I've ever seen this side of Jordan, who just didn't have as many opportunities to be clutch as Tom has had.
Can I ask you a question? Is the quarterback position not dependent? Because remember, Tom Brady left New England. Why? Because he felt he didn't have the receivers that he could depend on.
Okay.
So he plays a dependent position. He's depending on the offensive line to protect him. Everybody plays a dependent position.
Okay, but who is the most dependent would be the receiver on the quarterback.
Yes, but I'm saying, but here's the thing. See, you keep looking at value. I'm not looking at value. I'm looking at the best players, the most dominant players at the position. And Jerry is more dominant at his position than any other player is at their position. LT is more dominant at his position because he doesn't have the most MVPs. He doesn't have the most. Jerry has it all. And unless somebody get on the ball here, there's an outside chance Julio, if he can stay healthy for another 6 years, can catch Jerry.
How about Super Bowl MVPs?
No, Skip. Hey, quarterback. That's a quarter. The MVP now. It's going to be very hard for someone other than a quarterback. Derrick Henry's going to have to rush for 2,300 yards. He might do that with 17 games.
Okay, you are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
As a tight end, and I believe what sticks in your craw about Tom Brady is he's not athletic. You look at him and you flash on the 40-yard dash he ran at the Combine, the ugliest looking 40 in the history of the Combine. You flash on that picture of him with his just hard to watch upper body, right? Hard to look at. It's like an eyesore of an upper body, and you're saying, that guy is the GOAT of my game?
No, but Skip, when you look at it, most of the guys that are great in this sport, they aren't yoked up. They don't got 6 and 8 packs. Okay. They're not chiseled.
So Bruce Arians said for this piece in The Athletic, Tom's not the biggest or the fastest, all that stuff, but he is the winner of all winners. Yeah. And that's what boils it down. 44 going on 24, where he is more committed than ever. He is more obsessed than ever with winning. And the story points out from Julian Edelman that it goes all the way back to the 2014 season, where he would, as soon as the previous season finished, he would put up start the clock on where the next Super Bowl was, the date of it, the place of it. And at one point, Julian said something to, this is when he'd won 3 Super Bowls, and he said, bro, how crazy is it that you're going after Montana? And Brady said, I ain't going after Montana. I'm going for Jordan. And that's when he had 3 Super Bowls, and all of a sudden he's got 7, obviously, out of 10. Right. And 2 of them, I felt like were on Belichick, because Brady did what he should have done to win the it would be his 8th and 9th Super Bowl. He should have, if not for Belichick. Okay, so the point is, it's irrefutable that the most valuable player is the quarterback. Yes. So when we start ranking them, you have to go Brady, and then you have to go Montana, and then you have to go John Elway third. And I love Roger Staubach. He's underestimated. I would put him 4th on my list.
We're not doing it on value. We're saying who is the best player. I believe Jerry is better at his position. He didn't win. He doesn't have the value. No player has the value. Just like I don't believe, does a player have the value of a pitcher? Pitchers can dominate the game. Okay. A goalie can dominate the game. So obviously there's more value.
No, but the problem with the pitcher is he only pitches every 5th day.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
so again, you can argue that the home run hitter or the guy who can hit 340 is more valuable. Yeah. Over time.
But you get Randy Johnson doing what he does. You get Sandy Koufax.
Similar. It's similar, but it's not the same, because Tom can start every game, such as tomorrow night.
But here's the thing: he's starting every game, but he's playing once a week. It's the same, basically the same. That's why I use the evaluation.
17.
Right. So that's why I'm only using. That's why I'm using that as a benchmark.
Okay. So if I have to pick a non-quarterback, I would go to 5th on my list, and the first non-quarterback for me is Jim Brown. And I know kids out there have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm old enough. I got to watch him on television. He just dominated games. He was untackleable. He was such a force that they couldn't get him on the ground. He took over the league, and it was short-lived because he got in a contract squabble and just said, I'll go act.
Well, he wanted to act, and Mr. Artwood there said, we got camp, and you need to get here. Yeah. And he says, well, I'm doing this. He said, you either get here or else. And he says, well, you know what? I'm going to do it else. I'm retiring.
And he was
walked away with 29.
C-100 rifles with Raquel.
Yeah, I think it was 29. Yeah,
29. He wasn't 30 years old yet. Okay, so that's all we got, but I saw enough. Yeah. And I am with you on Jerry. He put up numbers that
he's obsessed like Tom.
Okay, nobody will ever be able to deal, but nobody's ever going to do what Tom did either.
No, I agree. I don't think everybody will do. I mean, Aaron Donald is going to have to win going to have to win MVP. To basically, I mean, he got a chance to he can win a couple more defensive players of the year.
For the kids out there who don't know Lawrence Taylor, just YouTube it, because he terrorized this league for about 5 big years.
Why do you think the left tackle is famous? Because you could not win the playoff games if you couldn't block him.
And most teams could not
And they
block
made
him.
everybody. The Vikings went and got Gary Zimmerman, and the Rams went and got Irv Eatman, and Joe Jacoby, and everybody. You had to get somebody to deal with him. Joe Gibbs changed his offense. He instituted the H-back because of LT.
Because he would hurt your quarterback.
If you could not block LT, you could not beat the Giants. It was simple as that, Skip. And why you think the Von Millers and the T.J. Watts and the Khalil Macks, why you think these guys, the Cornelius Bennett's, the Derek Thomases, the DeMarcus Wares, where you think they came from?
And they're all linebackers. They're not actually hand-in-the-dirt pass rushers. They're stand-up pass rushers.
That's from LT.
Yep, he started it.
That's it.
Okay, I got it. So he belongs up in there, but I can't put him first. I got to give some quarterbacks the most value.
That's the thing, Skip. You can't get over that value. And they are more valuable because they touch the ball 65 times a game. LT's not going to have 65 tackles or 20 sacks in a game, and Jerry's not going to have 65 catches. But, Skip, for me, because of where they are above the next closest behind them. And Jerry, can you imagine Jerry in this era where the DBs had all the advantage? There was no defense.